A desperate SOS reached the deadliest beings in the galaxy. What arrived wasn't help. It was a ship that could destroy anything in its path. The distress signal flashed urgently across the colony's communication panel, its red light casting eerie shadows across the control room. Commander Luke Harper's fingers hovered over the console, watching the blinking light. The mining colony on the edge of the Hexton system was under attack, and there was little time. The alien raiders were fast and organized, striking without warning. Every second the colony remained exposed could mean death for the miners and scientists living there. Luke could feel the tension in the room as the crew worked frantically to respond to the situation. Dr. Mia Turner, the colony's chief scientist, stood beside him, her eyes wide with concern as she scanned the incoming data. The aliens were advancing quicker than the colony's defenses could handle, and panic was spreading through the population. Supplies were limited and the defensive turrets were failing one by one. Luke took a deep breath and tried to steady his thoughts. He knew they had to send a distress signal, but the odds of someone capable of helping receiving it were slim. Still, he had to try. He activated the transmitter, sending a long SOS pulse into deep space, hoping it would reach someone, anyone, who could intervene before it was too late. Far beyond the solar system, the signal drifted into the void, passing through asteroid fields and drifting planets. It reached a region known for its dangerous planets and lethal inhabitants, a death world that had earned its name for the harshness of its environment and the deadly creatures that lived there. Among the Deathworlders, aid was not something given freely. They were survivors of the most extreme conditions, used to fighting against all odds. The signal reached them and the decision was made swiftly. However, this was not the type of help anyone on the colony expected. Instead of sending reinforcements, a massive dark ship was detected approaching the colony at an impossible speed. Its shape was unfamiliar, jagged, and almost alive in the way it moved through space. Sensors on the colony's small outpost struggled to keep up with its approach, displaying fragmented images that made the crew gasp. Dr. Mia Turner leaned closer to the console, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. The ship did not resemble any known human or alien design. Its hull absorbed light, creating an almost invisible silhouette against the darkness of space. Captain Luke Harper called the crew together, his voice firm but laced with tension. He explained that the situation had escalated beyond their understanding. The aliens attacking the colony froze, scanning the sky as the ship drew nearer. Their hesitation revealed fear that even the humans had not anticipated. Then, without warning, the ship unleashed a display of power that stunned everyone. A warning barrage struck the alien forces with pinpoint accuracy, disabling their weapons and engines without harming the colony. The alien attackers scattered, retreating in confusion. The crew looked on in awe and disbelief. They had survived not through negotiation or superior firepower, but because of the presence of something far more formidable. Lieutenant Aaron Bell and Engineer Claire Hudson rushed to analyze the ship's readings. Every system was unlike anything humanity had built. Its engines, weapons, and defense mechanisms operated with a terrifying efficiency that no human could replicate. The Deathworlders remained distant, observing, their intentions unreadable. The crew realized that the colony's survival had come not from diplomacy or technology, but from the fear and capability of the Deathworlders. Even the most organized alien attackers were helpless before this ship. Dr. Mia Turner speculated that the ship could operate autonomously, learning, adapting, and reacting faster than any human or alien command system. Luke Harper understood that comprehending the Deathworlders fully was impossible, but he also knew the colony would have to prepare for whatever came next. The presence of the ship had changed everything. It was a silent protector, a terrifying force, and a teacher. The humans watched as the ship remained in orbit, its sensors scanning, its systems humming with life. The colony had survived the attack, but the arrival of the Deathworlders had shifted the balance of power entirely. For the first time, the humans felt the weight of the galaxy beyond their small outpost and realized that survival might depend on understanding allies who were far more dangerous than any enemy they had faced before. The crew returned to their stations, eyes still fixed on the dark silhouette of the approaching ship, feeling both awe and fear. They knew this was just the beginning. Their lives had been irrevocably changed, and the choices they made next could determine not just their survival, but the future of the colony itself. The night sky above the Hexton system was quiet once more, but the tension remained, a reminder that the galaxy held forces far beyond human comprehension. Every shadow, every flicker of light on the sensors reminded them that they were no longer alone, and the universe would never be the same again for the humans of the colony. The alien attackers had fled, but the tension in the colony remained high. Commander Luke Harper paced the control room, eyes never leaving the approaching ship that had changed everything. Dr. Mia Turner was already at the sensors, trying to gather as much information as possible. She noticed that the ship seemed almost alive, moving with a grace and intelligence that no human or alien design could match. Lieutenant Aaron Bell and Engineer Claire Hudson examined the incoming data, their faces pale with disbelief. The ship's energy signatures were unlike anything they had ever encountered, and its weapon systems were precise and deadly, even from a distance. The crew realized that the ship was not just a machine, but a force that could think and adapt faster than any human mind. Luke Harper called the remaining security team together, explaining that their situation had shifted entirely. They were no longer just survivors of an attack. They were now under the observation of a being or entity far beyond their understanding. The colony's people gathered in small groups, whispering nervously, but the presence of the ship brought a strange sense of safety. The aliens had never seen anything like it, and that uncertainty had saved the humans. Dr. Mia Turner pointed out that the ship did not respond to traditional communication attempts. Every signal sent was met with silence or minimal interference, as if the ship was evaluating the humans, not speaking to them. Luke Harper felt a chill as he realized the truth. Their survival was now tied to understanding and adapting to the ship, not just defending against threats. Days passed with the ship hovering nearby, silent and watchful. Occasionally, small drones emerged from the vessel, scanning the colony and modifying equipment with astonishing speed. Aaron Bell and Claire Hudson began to see the potential in these interactions. Simple tools could be transformed into advanced devices, and defensive systems could be upgraded in moments. The colony adapted, learning to work alongside the mysterious visitors without fully understanding them. Then one night, a scout ship from the alien attackers returned, hoping to strike the colony while the Deathworlders ship remained silent. The humans watched with bated breath as the scout approached, unaware that the Deathworlders ship had already anticipated their arrival. The ship moved with terrifying speed and precision, striking the scout in seconds and leaving it disabled without harming the colony. Luke Harper and his team were in awe. The aliens retreated once again, leaving behind technology and data that could be studied. Dr. Mia Turner and the engineers rushed to analyze the abandoned alien tech, finding ways to integrate it with the drone's enhancements. The colony was learning that survival was not just about weapons, but about adapting, understanding, and evolving with the presence of the Deathworlder ship. Nights were filled with discussions and experiments. The humans began to understand patterns in the ship's behavior, noticing how it observed, learned, and sometimes intervened silently. Its actions were not just protection. They were lessons showing the humans how to anticipate danger and adapt quickly. Luke Harper realized that this silent guardian had changed the colony forever. They were no longer just miners and scientists. They were becoming something stronger, something capable of facing threats that had once seemed impossible. Claire Hudson found herself fascinated by the ship's modifications, learning to predict how the drones would enhance a device or alter a system. Aaron Bell marveled at how quickly the colony was adapting under this invisible guidance. Even Dr. Mia Turner, who had seen countless alien technologies, admitted that this was beyond comprehension. The humans understood a simple truth. To survive in this galaxy, they had to learn from the Deathworlders, embrace the unknown, and push themselves beyond the limits they had known. Every day brought new challenges and discoveries. The alien attackers had been driven off, but other threats would come. The colony had to be ready, and the only way to prepare was to observe, learn, and evolve alongside the deadly, silent force that now watched over them. Luke Harper could not sleep at night thinking of what lay ahead. He knew the Deathworlder ship had not come simply to protect them. It had come to challenge them, to force humanity to rise to a level they had never imagined. The colony worked tirelessly, building new defenses, experimenting with alien technology, and learning the subtle cues of the ship's behavior. Every day the humans grew stronger, faster, smarter. The SOS that had been sent in desperation had brought not just aid, but transformation. The humans were no longer victims. They were learners, warriors in training under the guidance of a force that defied understanding. And in the darkness of space, the Deathworlder ship remained a silent, living reminder that in this galaxy, survival depended not on what one had, but on how far one was willing to adapt, change, and become more than they had ever been before. The days after the first encounters passed slowly, yet every moment felt charged with tension and possibility. Commander Luke Harper walked the corridors of the colony, observing how the humans had changed. Even the miners and laborers who had once been worried only about their next shift now moved with a cautious alertness, aware that their survival depended on understanding the presence of the Deathworlder ship. Dr. Mia Turner spent long hours analyzing the data collected from the drones and alien devices left behind by the fleeing attackers. Each new discovery seemed to confirm that the Deathworlder ship was more than a machine. It could adapt and anticipate threats, its intelligence beyond human comprehension. Lieutenant Aaron Bell and Engineer Claire Hudson were working side by side, trying to modify the colony's defenses using both human ingenuity and the subtle enhancements of the Deathworlder drones. Simple tools became weapons or protective devices almost instantly, and even the energy shielding that had once been experimental now worked flawlessly under the guidance of the autonomous systems. The aliens, having retreated, seemed reluctant to return, wary of the Deathworlder's capabilities. Yet the colony knew they could not rely on luck alone. One day, scouts detected faint signs of alien movements near a nearby asteroid field. Luke Harper convened the security team and explained that they had to prepare for an attack, but this time they were no longer helpless. The drones silently moved throughout the colony, inspecting turrets, repairing damage, and enhancing systems that had previously been vulnerable. Claire Hudson marveled at how the devices seemed almost alive, responding to threats before they even occurred. Dr. Turner suggested that the Deathworlder ship had a form of predictive intelligence, allowing it to calculate enemy movements and adjust the colony's defenses accordingly. Luke Harper realized that this presence was teaching the humans to survive not by brute force, but by understanding and adapting. Nights were filled with quiet anticipation. The colony slept in shifts, aware that danger could strike at any moment. Aaron Bell spent hours monitoring the perimeter, noting how the drones moved silently and efficiently, always observing and sometimes intervening in subtle ways. The humans had begun to understand that they were part of a system now, a partnership with a force that was as dangerous as it was protective. Then, one afternoon, a small alien vessel attempted a reconnaissance mission. The humans watched in tense silence as it approached the colony, unaware that the Deathworlder ship had already tracked it. In an instant, the ship reacted, disabling the vessel with precision. The colony observed every movement, learning the patterns of intervention and understanding how to anticipate future threats. Dr. Mia Turner began documenting every event, trying to create a manual of survival that could be passed on. Every encounter, every observation was a lesson. Luke Harper felt the weight of responsibility. The colony was no longer just a settlement. It had become a place of learning and transformation. The humans were being shaped by the presence of the Deathworlders into something stronger and more capable than they had ever imagined. Claire Hudson experimented with the drone's modifications, discovering ways to enhance even the simplest machinery. Aaron Bell trained with the security teams, understanding the importance of anticipation and strategy. Dr. Turner continued to analyze alien and Deathworlder technology, piecing together insights that could one day give the humans an edge of their own. As weeks passed, the colony transformed further. The Deathworlder ship remained nearby, its presence a constant reminder of power and intelligence far beyond human understanding. Luke Harper often stared at the dark silhouette in orbit, contemplating the lessons it was silently imparting. Every threat that had once seemed insurmountable was now a challenge that could be met with preparation, observation, and quick adaptation. The humans had begun to internalize these lessons. Fear was still present, but it had been replaced with focus and determination. The miners became scouts, engineers became strategists, and scientists became tacticians. The colony was learning to survive in ways they had never imagined, and the lessons from the Deathworlder ship were shaping them into something that could face the unknown with confidence. The SOS that had once been a desperate plea had brought more than just a savior. It had brought a teacher, a force that challenged humanity to rise above its limits. Luke Harper knew that this was only the beginning. The galaxy held many dangers, and the humans of the colony were no longer ordinary survivors. They were students in the harshest school of all, guided by a force that was both terrifying and necessary. As the sun set over the Hexton system, the colony continued its quiet, disciplined work. Every sound, every flicker on the sensors reminded them of the unseen presence watching over them. And in that watchful silence, the humans understood that survival in this galaxy was not about what one had, but how one learned to adapt, anticipate, and become more than they had ever imagined possible. The colony had changed. Commander Luke Harper could feel it in the air, in the way people moved and spoke. Even the miners who had once worried only about their next task now seemed alert and ready for anything. The Deathworlder ship hovered silently in orbit, a dark, living presence that seemed to watch every move the humans made. Dr. Mia Turner was at the sensors again, studying the drones that emerged from the ship. They moved with perfect precision, repairing, upgrading, and sometimes replacing equipment without any human instruction. Claire Hudson and Aaron Bell worked side by side, trying to understand the drones' logic and predict their actions. Each day brought new surprises as simple tools were transformed into powerful devices, and defensive systems became almost impenetrable. Luke Harper knew that the Deathworlder ship was not just protecting them, it was teaching them. The humans were learning to anticipate danger, to think ahead, and to adapt faster than ever before. It was a slow process, but the lessons were invaluable. One afternoon, the sensors detected movement far beyond the colony, a distant scout from the alien species that had attacked them before. The humans watched in tense silence as it approached. The Deathworlder ship responded immediately, its weapons striking with perfect accuracy. The scout was disabled, leaving behind wreckage that Dr. Turner and the engineers examined carefully. They found ways to combine the alien technology with the drone's enhancements, creating tools and defenses the colony had never imagined. Nights were long, filled with observation, experiments, and planning. Aaron Bell monitored the perimeter, while Claire Hudson modified machinery based on the drone's interventions. The colony had become a hub of learning and adaptation, where every failure was a lesson and every success was shared. Luke Harper could see the change in people's eyes. Fear was still present, but it had been tempered with focus and determination. The humans were no longer helpless, they were part of a system, learning from a force far beyond their understanding. Dr. Turner often stayed late into the night, documenting every drone interaction, every modification, and every response to potential threats. She wanted to create a record that could be used to train others, should they ever face a similar situation. Claire Hudson experimented with the modifications, discovering how to anticipate the drone's actions and even guide them in subtle ways. Aaron Bell trained with the security teams, learning the importance of strategy, timing, and observation. The Deathworlder ship remained a constant presence, its silence as powerful as any words. It had taught the humans patience, precision, and adaptability. Luke Harper often reflected on the SOS they had sent. What had begun as a desperate plea had brought not just protection, but transformation. The colony had become stronger, smarter, and more capable than they had ever imagined. Every day the humans learned something new, adapting to threats and preparing for challenges that had once seemed insurmountable. The alien attackers had been forced to retreat, but Luke Harper knew that they would not give up. The colony had to remain vigilant, ready to respond and continue learning from the Deathworlder ship. Over time, the humans began to understand the subtle cues and patterns in the ship's behavior. Its interventions were not random. They were lessons guiding the colony toward survival, innovation, and strength. Luke Harper, Dr. Mia Turner, Aaron Bell, and Claire Hudson led the colony with renewed confidence, knowing that they were being shaped into something extraordinary. The Deathworlder ship remained above, silent, watching, teaching, and ensuring that the humans would survive whatever the galaxy threw at them next. In the quiet moments as the stars twinkled above the Hexton system, the humans of the colony worked tirelessly, understanding that survival depended not just on what they had, but on how they adapted, learned, and became more than they had ever thought possible. The colony had grown stronger. Commander Luke Harper walked among the workers, noticing the confidence in their steps. Even the miners moved with alertness, scanning their surroundings as if danger could appear at any moment. The Deathworlder ship remained above, silent and imposing, its presence a constant reminder of power that was beyond human comprehension. Dr. Mia Turner and the engineers had developed routines to study the drones, noting how each action seemed to anticipate human needs and potential threats. Aaron Bell and Claire Hudson spent hours modifying devices, learning to work with the subtle guidance provided by the ship's drones. The humans were no longer simply reacting. They were learning to anticipate, to plan, and to act with precision. One night, scouts from the alien attackers returned, attempting to strike the colony while the humans seemed distracted. The humans watched with tense anticipation as the vessels approached, unaware that the Deathworlder ship had already calculated every possible movement and outcome. In an instant, the ship moved with terrifying speed, disabling the alien vessels in moments. The humans observed in awe and fear. The alien fleet fled, leaving behind debris and advanced technology that Dr. Turner immediately analyzed. Claire Hudson experimented with the devices, discovering ways to enhance them further with the drone's modifications. Aaron Bell trained security teams, incorporating lessons learned from observing the Deathworlder ship's responses. The humans realized that survival was no longer about raw power. It was about adaptability, observation, and learning to act before a threat could even strike. Days turned into weeks as the colony continued its rigorous routines. The humans studied the ship, the drones, and the alien technology, slowly transforming from a simple mining colony into a highly adaptable outpost capable of facing even the most dangerous threats. Commander Luke Harper often reflected on the changes. The SOS they had sent had brought more than help. It had brought transformation. The humans were learning to survive, not just through weapons or shields, but through intelligence, adaptation, and teamwork. The Deathworlder ship was more than a guardian. It was a teacher, showing humanity how to prepare for anything the galaxy could throw at them. The colony's nights were long and tense, filled with experiments, observations, and planning. Every device, every strategy, every movement was analyzed and improved. Dr. Mia Turner documented every lesson, every interaction with the drones, creating a record that could guide future generations. Claire Hudson perfected the tools, turning ordinary equipment into powerful systems with the subtle enhancements provided by the drones. Aaron Bell drilled the security teams, teaching them to anticipate danger and respond with precision. The humans had learned patience, observation, and timing. The Deathworlder ship did not speak or give orders. It only observed, intervened when necessary, and allowed the humans to learn through experience. Luke Harper realized that this method was harsh but effective. The colony was no longer just a settlement. It had become a training ground, a place where humans were learning to survive and thrive against impossible odds. The alien attackers had retreated, but Luke knew they would return. The humans had to be ready for anything, and the only way to prepare was to continue learning, adapting, and improving. Over time, the humans began to anticipate the ship's subtle cues, understanding patterns and responses. Its interventions were lessons in strategy, precision, and survival. Every day brought new challenges, and the humans rose to meet them, guided by the silent, imposing presence above. The SOS that had once been a desperate plea had brought not just rescue, but evolution. The humans of the colony were no longer helpless. They were observers, learners, and warriors in a harsh, unpredictable galaxy. As the stars shone above the Hexton system, the humans continued their work, knowing that their survival depended on understanding, adapting, and becoming stronger than they had ever imagined possible. The Deathworlder ship remained in orbit, watching and teaching, ensuring that the humans would be prepared for whatever threats the galaxy might send next. The colony had been transformed. Commander Luke Harper walked through the bustling outpost, noticing the confidence in the eyes of every worker and guard. Even the miners moved with alertness, ready for any situation, their skills sharpened by constant observation and guidance from the Deathworlder ship above. Dr. Mia Turner was at the sensors, analyzing the latest data from the drones and alien technology. Every discovery revealed that the ship was more than a guardian. It was a teacher, a force that challenged humans to adapt and think beyond their limits. Lieutenant Aaron Bell and Engineer Claire Hudson worked together, testing new devices and defenses. Simple tools had become powerful instruments, and defensive systems operated with precision and speed that had been unimaginable just months before. The colony was no longer a simple settlement. It had become a hub of innovation, training, and preparation. Luke Harper gathered the leadership team to discuss the future. The alien forces would return eventually, and the colony had to be ready. Dr. Turner shared her insights about the drones and the alien devices, explaining how humans could now anticipate threats and respond with remarkable efficiency. Claire Hudson demonstrated modifications to weapons and machinery, showing how they could act faster and more precisely. Aaron Bell ran simulations with security teams, ensuring that every possible scenario had been considered. Nights were long but productive. The colony operated on schedules that balanced rest with constant learning and observation. The humans had internalized lessons from the Deathworlder ship, understanding patterns, anticipating moves, and preparing for challenges that would have been impossible before. Luke Harper reflected on the SOS that had brought them here. What had once been a desperate call for help had become a turning point. The humans had been shaped into a force capable of surviving and thriving, guided by a presence that was both frightening and protective. The Deathworlder ship remained in orbit, silent yet commanding, a constant reminder of the galaxy's dangers and the strength required to face them. As the days passed, the colony continued to evolve. The humans learned to work seamlessly with the drones to anticipate danger and to create solutions in real time. Their confidence grew, as did their ability to respond to any threat with precision and strategy. The alien forces had been forced to retreat, and the humans had learned how to turn their fear into strength. Dr. Mia Turner continued to document every lesson, hoping that the knowledge could be shared with other human colonies. Claire Hudson perfected tools and devices that combined alien technology with human ingenuity. Aaron Bell trained guards and security teams to operate with speed, efficiency, and adaptability. Luke Harper realized that the colony had become a model of human resilience and intelligence. The SOS had not only saved lives, it had created a new standard of survival. The humans of the colony understood that they were no longer ordinary settlers. They had become a community capable of facing threats, learning from them, and evolving faster than any enemy could anticipate. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but the humans had grown stronger, smarter, and more capable than ever. And above them, the Deathworlder ship remained, a silent guardian and teacher, ensuring that the lessons of survival, adaptation, and resilience would continue to shape humanity. In the quiet moments, as the stars twinkled over the Hexton system, Luke Harper looked out at the vast darkness of space, knowing that the humans of the colony were ready. They had learned to adapt, to observe, and to act with skill and confidence. The SOS that had once been a plea for help had brought more than aid. It had brought transformation. Humanity had grown, guided by the mysterious and powerful Deathworlders, and the colony now stood as a testament to their strength, intelligence, and unyielding will to survive and thrive in a galaxy that would never be the same again.